Okay, this is all being recorded as we speak, because if you take notes while the crazy cool stuff's happening in front of you, you're going to be too busy writing down notes. Okay, so I suggest just putting a notepad aside just for now. You can always come back to the recording later and take notes and ask questions. If you have scripts and workbooks and stuff like that, get rid of them, put them in the recycling bin. I guarantee at the end of the 2 days, you'll never need those things again. Because where I want to take you guys with ACH, even if it's your first time doing any sort of advanced therapy like this, the place I want to take you in 2 days is quite an intangible place, meaning that a lot of the stuff I'm going to teach you, you're going to see live in the moment. Okay, you're going to be able to see it, you're going to be able to experience it. For some of you guys, you'll be able to feel it because you'll be a part of the demo. And that's this whole experience, and that's what makes this thing so powerful. I don't want to spend 2 days just reading pieces of paper to each other. I mean, God, give me a break. I'm sure you guys have done enough of that anyway. And we're going to be working at a point of principles, not techniques. So for those that have been to any sort of training before, hopefully this sort of matches your experience, and let me know if this is the case. Who's been to a training where you learn, the deepeners, you learn the scripts, you learn the techniques, the timelines, the regressions, the instant inductions and stuff like that. You learn it, it makes sense, but when you go to apply it, it doesn't sort of work out the way that they say it should. Has anyone experienced that before? Okay. Then you get your hard-earned money again. You go to another training because they promise you something brand new, shiny object stuff. Then you go to the training and you think, hang on, I'm learning the same thing again. It's just got a different name. I'm reading the same sort of script. It's just got different words. The latest thing is people talking about timeline therapy. Now there's some crazy marketers out there calling it lifeline therapy. It's the same thing. It's the same techniques and strategies being taught, but with a different name. Where ACH comes into this is we're going to do none of that. We're not going to look at deepeners. We're not going to look at therapy. We're not going to look at techniques. We're not going to look at timelines. I'm not going to look at language patterns. We're not going to look at regressions, because I want to take you to a place where you realize those things are not necessary for your clients to have very, very quick breakthroughs. So who's keen just for the 2 days? Who's happy just to put what they've learned in the past just to the side for now, for the next 2 days, and just be completely open to this 2-day experience? Because everything I'm going to teach you is really going to go against what you've probably already learned, because it has to. Okay, and I'll explain how those principles work. Now, the reason why principles are so important is because they can become very flexible. Who's ever found themselves following like that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-step process? You get to the end of it and a client looks at you and says, I still feel the same. And you're thinking, shit, what do I do? I've spent 2 hours preparing for this thing. Why is it not working? Has anyone sort of been there before? Yep. So I'm going to show you why that is, okay, and how to avoid those things. Now, the biggest block, I guess we could start here's the best place for us to start. The biggest block that I see in sort of traditional type therapies is therapists and coaches are in far too much of a hurry to get things done. They put so much goddamn pressure on themselves to solve their client's problem. Who's ever found themselves there before? You sit in front of your client and think, oh my God, I hope this is going to work. Please, 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 this has to work. And maybe you get to the end of the session and nothing's happened. Your client leaves a little bit upset and you sit there and dwell on it for the next 5 hours thinking, shit, where did I go wrong? Who's found themselves there before? I've done it. And it's absolute hell. So what we're going to do, ironically, is I'm going to show you over this 2 days is how to slow down what you're doing to get more done. Ironically, the more you try and do things with your client, the less effect it's going to have. Quite ironic, isn't it? The more pressure you put on yourself, the harder it is to solve a client's problem. Who also likes this as an idea? Who would like to never, ever, ever have to solve your client's problem ever again? Who would like that? Give me a hands up. Wouldn't that take all the pressure off yourself? It takes all your pressure off yourself to think, oh my God, I hope you quit smoking because that's my job. Now, ironically, that's what we're getting paid for. But it's a very, very hard way to do therapy that way because of the amount of pressure we put on ourselves, and we'll experience that, and I'll take you guys through that.